Conference USA has undergone a lot of changes, and the 2025 college football season will be an interesting one. There are two teams at the top, and we're going to take a look at every team's win totals, see who's going to exceed those expectations and maybe who's going to come up short. We're going to start with Delaware. This is one of the new teams that comes into Conference USA, and their win total is set at 4.5. Now, this is a team that a lot of people think is going to be a surprise of the conference, and when you look at the competition, you look at conference play specifically, there are reasons to believe that. There are reasons why this team could truly be that team that surprises. They had success at the FCS level. They're looking to have success at the FBS level, and doing so in Conference USA should be possible. And the schedule isn't overly difficult. You obviously get the two best teams in Western Kentucky and Liberty. You have to go to Liberty for that. But there are games against teams that will be near the bottom of the conference. You don't play the other new team in Missouri State, but you do get teams like FIU, Jacksonville State, Middle Tennessee, Louisiana Tech, Sam Houston, and UTEP. So those provide you opportunities to potentially win, potentially pull off some upsets. Now, going to Delaware for some of these teams will be a challenge, so maybe that's a home field advantage. I'm going to go with the over here. I'm not super convinced that this is going to be the surprise of the conference, but it'll be fun to see them try. Next up is FIU. Now, FIU has a lot of work to do if they're going to get to where they want to be under a new regime. The win total is set at 5.5, though. So if they get over that, they're going to a bowl game. You look at what this team has had in the past, and it hasn't been great. This is a team that's struggled mightily against fairly average competition and gets blown out by good competition. Now, this is a team that has a really exciting quarterback in Keon Jenkins. You feel that he has a lot to prove this year, and it'll be fun to see how they compete. I think you saw some glimpses last year of what he could do, but they lost quite a bit of talent. They have a new coaching staff coming in. But I do like the trend in this program, at least in the last few months. This is a team that I think has a lot of confidence heading into the year. I'm going to lean with the over here, but I wouldn't be surprised with their track record if they hit the under. Jacksonville State, this is a team that I'm going to go with the under. Now, Charles Kelly, if he would have been hired maybe a few years ago, there would have been more excitement about his hire. But I think a lot of people are forgetting that he is the head coach at Jacksonville State. Taking over for Rich Rodriguez was always going to be difficult. This was always going to be a challenge, and getting this program to win at the rate that they did under the previous regime is going to take some time. I'm going to go with the under. There's too much talent to replace. I don't really have a lot of excitement towards their new head coach. And to me, that's enough for me to doubt that this team is going to make it to a bowl game. Kennesaw State is also under new leadership, and the win total for them is set at 3.5. Now, this is a team that has a lot of work to do as well. And I feel like I'm just going to say that with a lot of teams in this conference. There's a lot of challenges ahead of some of these teams. And the first two games for Kennesaw State are going to be rough. You're going to get blown out by Wake Forest and Indiana. You should get your first win, I say should, against Merrimack. And then after that, it's going to be what you can do against Conference USA competition. I don't think they're going to beat Arkansas State, and there's a chance that they could surprise some people. They don't have to play Western Kentucky, but they do have to play Liberty at the end of the year. Now, that's a team that they upset last year, so maybe they're able to do that again. But overall, I feel like this team has work to do to get to that point. It's going to be an under for me, but I think that there's still too much work for this program to do before they're truly going to get to sniffing a bowl game. Liberty's win total is set at 9.5, and this is a program that is expecting to get back on track, especially after last year. Last year was not a season in which they felt good about what they did, and they are looking to get back to the top of the conference. They lose to Kennesaw State last year. That is a game that cannot happen under Jamie Chadwell. You just can't have that. And maybe there was some instability at certain positions, but this is a team that expects to be back to where they need to be. Now, they do have to play James Madison early in the season, but most of their games that they're going to play are against really poor competition. They do not have to play Western Kentucky, and that's truly the only team that I see as a challenger for Liberty right now. Maybe that changes as the year progresses, but Western Kentucky is not on the schedule, so that means that I think this team has a great chance to win a lot of football games. I'm going to go with the over here. I think 10-2 is definitely a possibility. You could see 11-1, and 12-0 is definitely on the table. Louisiana Tech is set at 5.5. Win total is not going to be too difficult to beat if you have the right talent, but Sonny Cumbie has to take a major step. We've seen some glimpses of what this team could do, but it overall has been kind of a struggle. Last year, you only get 5 wins, which is just 2 more than the 2 previous years. So technically you're taking a step forward, but this year, I think you truly have to get to a bowl game, but that might not even be enough. Now, the schedule does give you opportunities to get to that point. Even within the first month of September, you look at Southeast Louisiana, obviously you're not beating LSU, New Mexico State, Southern Miss, and UTEP give you plenty of opportunities to win football games. You also get Kennesaw State after that. You also face the 2 new teams in the conference. So winning 6 games is definitely a possibility. I'm going to go with the over here. I'm not super confident in that, but I think that Louisiana Tech is a team that's kind of being slept on. And there's going to be a team in this conference that surprises, whether it's one of those new teams, whether it's this team or the team we'll talk about next. That remains to be seen, but this is a team that could do it. Derek Mason has a lot of work to do at Middle Tennessee. The win total is set at 4.5. And last year, this was a team that wasn't exactly competitive in its losses. It wasn't like this team lost close games. So they have a lot of work to do to get to a point where they're just being competitive. 4.5 is a win total that feels pretty low, but when you look at the schedule, you have to assume that they're going to be better than some of these teams that have the same win total or are near that win total. So games like Austin Peay, you're going to win. But after that, finding a win until Kennesaw State might be challenging. You do face the new teams in Missouri State and Delaware back-to-back games. Then you play Jacksonville State, a team that I think is heading in the wrong direction. FIU, that has something to prove. You don't have to play Liberty, but you do play Western Kentucky. And then you get Sam Houston and New Mexico State. A lot of these teams at the bottom are all going to be close to each other. If one team can take a step forward and show that they're ahead above these guys, then blowing their win total out of the water shouldn't be a problem. Middle Tennessee could be one of those teams. Missouri State is a team that I really like. 4.5 is the win total, just like Delaware coming in to Conference USA. And I think when you look at what this team did last year, obviously the NDSU and South Dakota State games weren't great. But when you look at the beginning of the season, they played tough competition pretty close. They almost beat Ball State. They gave Montana a run for their money. And that's a team that could have success right away. This is a team that's had a good track record over the last few years. And now they come into a conference that should allow them to have some success. Now, getting to that point might take some time. They play USC, Marshall, and SMU to start the year. They're probably their first win if they don't have it against UT Martin. And then they do start Conference USA play with Western Kentucky. That's a tough way to start. But after that, they play plenty of competition that they should be able to beat. They also do face Liberty, so that will be challenging. I'm going to go with the over here. I'm excited about this team. I think this is actually the team that will surprise people. So we'll see how things play out. Somebody at the bottom, though, is going to break out. You're seeing a lot of 4.5, 5.5 win totals here. Somebody is going to beat that. And I think that Missouri State could be that team as well. New Mexico State is also set at 4.5. And when I was putting this together, it kind of felt like I was just typing the wrong numbers, but this is truly how many teams are set at 4.5 or 5.5. And New Mexico State, to me, is an underplay here. I don't really have faith in what this program is doing. Tony Sanchez hasn't proven that he can be a head coach that wins at a program like this, and I don't know what they're going to do. Maybe this is the surprise because nobody's expecting them to win, but I'm going to go with the under here. I just don't like where this team is headed. 4.5 is the win total for Sam Houston, another 4.5 win total. Phil Longo has a lot of exciting things ahead of him. It just might take some time for him to show that on the field. Probably starting the year 0-4, which is tough because you play Western Kentucky, UNLV, Hawaii, and Texas to start the year. After that, you should get some potential winnable games. I do like the roster that this new coaching staff inherits. There's plenty of talent that departed, but I do like some of the players they have coming back. I don't know if Phil Longo is going to be a great head coach, but I like that he has the opportunity to work with some of these guys that have promising talent. Some of these returners make for a really exciting offense, and that could be the difference between an over and under. I'm going to go with the over here, and it'll be fun to see if Longo can get them to a bowl game. UTEP's win total is at 5.5, and there are plenty of winnable games on the schedule, and this is a program that has a ton to prove. There has been a lot of struggles with the UTEP minors program, and they are hoping to bounce back in a major way. Now, you do have winnable games to start the year outside of the Texas game. The Liberty game, if Liberty truly is back to where they need to be, that's going to be a losable game for sure. After that, though, you're playing a lot of these teams that have 4.5 or 5.5 wins for their win total. Same with Kennesaw State at 3.5. You're having games that give you the opportunity to win. Now, there are some talks about a potential 9-win UTEP, which would be an absolute shock. But again, somebody's going to do it. One of these teams that sits between that 3.5 and a 5.5 win total is going to surprise a lot of people, and UTEP is in the running for that. And then finally, Western Kentucky. Liberty and Western Kentucky are head and shoulders above everybody right now. Liberty is at 9.5, and Western Kentucky's win total is set at 7.5. Now, this is a team that definitely can make a run for it. You look at what they brought in. They bring in Maverick McIver from Abilene Christian to run their offense, and I think he's a great fit for what Western Kentucky wants to do. They've had success bringing in transfer portal quarterbacks in the past, and that could be another trend that continues for them. This is a team that has a lot of exciting pieces on offense for McIver to utilize, and they have a schedule that features a lot of winnable games outside of LSU. I'm going to go with the over here. They will challenge Liberty for the Conference USA title. That will be an epic matchup. If you're a Conference USA fan, that championship game will be full of points if these teams truly live up to their expectations. Again, right now it's two teams above everybody else. Somebody is going to surprise, and I'm excited to see who that's going to be. As always, subscribe to the channel, share the video, like the video. It goes a long way in helping the channel, and we'll see you in the next video.